Hello, how is everyone today? Um, Good to have you here. And please say who you are when you jump on, and we will get this thing moving. I am sure that you can see my gorgeous cat in the background who is going to be right in the middle of all of this in no time at all. I know her, I know how she is. So, first, congratulations. I mean, everybody's been going super strong, and we've been at this for what, a week, 2 weeks now? Almost 2 weeks? That's great. I mean, I'm just double checking my calendar, which is up there on the wall. We're almost 2 weeks in. I've had some very fun emails from people telling me that their motivation is stepping up. Hey, Susan, thanks for joining me. Good afternoon to you. They've been telling me that their motivation is getting better, that they've been going to the gym or exercising more consistently. So there's a lot of, the themes I'm hearing are consistency, stepping it up, and hey, Carol, how are you? You got into a live, yay! And just kind of like, moving to that next level up. Really, that's kind of what it is. Like, I think if any of y'all were on the call when I talked about the pyramid, hey, Nikki, you're here too. Good to see you. But I was talking about the fitness pyramid before and the foundation. So, you've got this foundation of fitness and stretching, fitness being like your resistance and weights, and then your cardio, and then your stretching, and that's kind of your foundation. And then as you do more and more, you just step it up. So I'm hearing a lot of people talking about stepping it up too. Hang on for 1 second. I'm going to turn off this light that is here because it's right in my glasses and kind of goofy looking here. Still there, but not too bad. So here are the questions that I have today, and in no particular order, but one of the first ones that someone asked was, why don't I have any energy? Like I'm moving, I'm doing more exercise than I used to, but I feel really exhausted and tired. So energy comes from a couple of things. Like one of them is that if I'm tired at the end of the day, the first thing I look at is, did I eat? Like, did I eat today? Or was it one of those days where, like, literally, I've been on phone calls all day long. And 15 minutes ago, I ran in, reheated some leftovers because I thought, you know what, if I wait until after this call, I'm going to bonk. Like, you know the word bonk, like I'm just going to crash. So look at your food source. Like, are you eating good food? I keep a few things in my refrigerator that are super quick to make. I'll do the leftover stuff like that. But I'm always looking for ways to just kind of make sure that I get nourished during the day. And then another thing where extra energy comes from is stress. Like if you're stressed, like if you've got a super stressful day going on, it is going to zap you. It's just going to totally zap you. So any of those days when like I catch myself and I'm just like running a mile a minute and feeling like I don't have enough time, that is when I always stop, do some quick deep breathing. Like just get that stress level, get the cortisol back down, drop the adrenaline, like just relax it down. Other energy. So it could be like food too, what'd you eat yesterday? Like, how was your food yesterday? Did you have a good day of food, or did you eat junk? That will certainly slow you down in a day. How was your sleep? So, and then the other thing that you want to look at is, what's your movement like? Are you moving enough? And moving enough is an objective thing that we will definitely, we talk a whole lot more about that in the full course, but just for today, for moving enough, like in my world, I want to make sure that I'm getting a good amount of sweat, like just plain old sweat, for at least 30 minutes. And so just like kind of asking yourself, are you moving enough? So movement creates energy. It does not wear you out. The only time it's going to wear you out is when you're training for, long distance, like triathlons and stuff like that. Then yeah, it's going to wear you out. But just general movement, It's going to give you energy instead of taking away. Any questions about energy before I jump on? I'm not sure who asked these questions. I didn't write their name down. So if you're on the call right now and you ask the questions, then just let me know and I can certainly embellish. The next one is no willpower. I don't have any willpower is what she said. And I know who wrote this one. She is not on the call right now. She said, I have no willpower, especially at the end of the day. At the end of the day, all I want to do is grab a drink, sit down, stick my feet up, and watch Netflix. So instead of going to the gym, that was her total quote. So willpower is, it's really kind of a fallacy. Like willpower is one of those things that I love to say that, you know, if willpower worked, we wouldn't be having this conversation. It's you wear yourself out trying to use willpower. What you need are habit changes, like shifting habits and not relying on willpower. Something else that makes it a whole lot easier is to stack your day in the way that the things that require the most effort are the things that get done first in the day. Like if working out is actually, like my workouts happen in the morning. Not because they're so effortful for me, but because I know that if I sit down at my computer and I start working, the possibility of me leaving this computer and getting to a workout, going to the gym or whatever, dwindles as the day goes on. I mean, it just starts dropping. So I work out first thing in the morning because it's my priority. And I know that I'm going to have less likelihood of doing it if I let the day go on. So, you know, those things that are requiring willpower right now, do them early. If it's something that where you want to replace, like going to embellish a little bit further on this question that I got, she said that she wants to grab a drink at the end of the day and sit down and watch Netflix. In parentheses, it said, and I don't want to drink anymore. So like, there's just like this cascading effect of things that aren't working, right? So dropping a bad habit is, and I'm going to be like, this is the simplest way I can say this, but we can talk about this more later. But dropping a bad habit, you can either replace it with something else, or you can replace your idea about the habit. So by that, I mean like replace it with something else. For my friend who said that she wanted to have willpower at the end of the day so that she wasn't having a drink and sitting there watching TV, I would say replace it with something else. Get rid of the beer is what it was that she doesn't, you know, that she doesn't want to be drinking. Get rid of that in the house. Replace it with something that is good for you, like is healthy. There's something out there that I suggest to people a lot when they want to, you know, cut down on their alcohol. It's called Kin, K-I-N, and it has a lot of different stuff in it. It's kind of like a tonic more than anything, and it replaces having a drink. So there's that. There's sparkling water. There's, I don't know, there's a lot of options. Organifi, another thing, kind of a green drink, but, you know, replace it. Okay, Carol, yeah, see if you can catch it back with sound. But replace that bad habit with something good. So for her, she could replace that sitting down and having a beer with all these different options. Then the other thing is that something's triggering that action, okay? So for her, she gets done at the end of the day, she feels tired, and so she's going to go do this thing that she doesn't want to do. First, comes back to energy, right? It's what we talked about earlier. How is she going to get her energy up at the end of the day? Then second, something's triggering that. So it's the trigger is she finishes work, she walks into the kitchen, and the habit is always to do that thing. Get a beer out of the refrigerator, sit down on the couch. So she has to just change that habit, that trigger. So the trigger then becomes when she leaves her desk, my suggestion to her was not to go into the kitchen at all. Just go straight down the hall, throw on some workout clothes, and go out for a walk. Just change the trigger completely. So think about that. Like, you know, no willpower is really habits, and it's habits that you don't want. So how are you going to change those? Then the next question that came up was accountability. Like I have said often that I think having a buddy system is a really great way to stay accountable to your goals. And it's not that we're not enough to do what we say we're going to do, but if we add layered accountability, it just makes it so much easier. So layered accountability would look something like this. You have a coach, right? Whether that's your trainer or calls like this or whatever it is, you have a coach. That's one level of accountability. Then your next level of accountability is you have a buddy system. So you have a friend who you work with, and when I say work with, maybe you check in with each other via text once a day. You call that person when you feel like you're not going to go do the things you said you were going to do. You call that person and she is going to talk you into doing those things. She's your stalwart companion. Couple of things about this. Don't pick a best friend as your buddy. Won't work. You guys will let each other off all day long. And don't pick your partner as your buddy, because once again, your best friends and your partners will talk each other out. So yeah, so just like think about that. Find somebody who you really admire, but wants to be accountable too, and think of some ways to do it. Right now, like over in the course that the people are going through, I think that they're finding that accountability is one of the biggest things because they have peer groups. So each week I think there's like 4 to 5 people in a peer group. They get on a Zoom call together. Everybody checks in and says, okay, this is what I'm going to do this coming week. This is my list. And this is what I got done last week. So the goal is to hit at least 80% of what you said you got done last week. So by doing that, what happens is that people find that they stay a lot more accountable because everybody in the group is counting on them. Everybody's waiting for them when they get on the call to say, yes, I did it, I hit my goal. So think about that. Like, how can you do that, whether it's one person or 2 people, but you want people who are serious about what they're going to do. I know one time I did a buddy group there were 3 of us on, actually there were 4 of us. There were 4 of us. And one of the people just wasn't in it. Like she said, yes, she wanted to do it, but she just wasn't in on it. And it just kind of drug the whole group down. So you want to find that person, that buddy that can really help. If you don't have someone, another option is there's something out there called Stick, Stick. And Stick is kind of interesting. I mean, I'm going to kind of butcher this because it's been a while since I looked at it. But what I remember it being is that you're going to put your goal in there or your commitment in there and put an amount of money on it, whatever it is. And if you don't hit that goal, then your money gets donated to something that you don't like, whether it's the political party that you wouldn't vote for. Or I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was kind of funny. But at the same time, it's like carrot and stick. It was a good idea. And then your last level of accountability is you, and really that's your first level and your last level. So having it yourself say that you are like accountable and committed to whatever it wants to be, whatever you want, then that's going to make the big difference, okay? Because in the end, it's always us. And I always like to say, what would your future self want you to do? Like, if you think about it, what would that future you really want you to be doing right now? Like, whether it's eating or exercising or relieving stress or, whatever those things are, that person that you are working toward being, what would she want you to be doing right now when it comes to those decisions? So think about that, because I think that makes a big difference. Let me check some of the comments real quick. So Carol says, yes, that her partner and bestie, yeah, eat the cheesecake, right? I am not, well, if you were to ask Phil says I'm a food Nazi because I just don't keep a lot of snack foods in the house. We don't keep cheesecake because if we had cheesecake in the house, I'd probably eat it. But we don't keep that stuff in the house because I would eat it if it was here. But I also know that when it does show up in the house, he is the first person to get out a bowl of potato chips, sit down next to me and just like be like, you want some? You sure you don't want any? Ooh, they're really good. Like, seriously, dude, like leave me alone. So you don't want that. You don't want that as your accountability partner ever. So let me just catch here. So I'm the only healthy water in the home, other than the other half drinks soda and energy drinks. So I try to keep water in my grass so I don't. Yeah. So good for you, Susan, because the sodas, actually sodas and energy drinks are really the same. Like an energy drink is not really a healthy thing. I think it's, well, I'll put it this way. Eons ago, they used to use sports figures to sell cigarettes, as like in cigarette ads and stuff like that. So this goes back, I don't know how long ago, 50s, I think. So not that long ago, they were using sport figures to sell Gatorade. And Gatorade, even though it's sold as not just an energy drink, I mean, Gatorade's sold as like a workout drink. If you read the contents, there's a lot of sugar in there. There's a lot of stuff in there that you don't want. I don't think there's anything wrong with having sugar now and then, but when you're drinking Cokes or whatever it is consistently, man, that is the quickest way to gain weight. Like I think faster than beer. It is the quickest way to gain weight. So yeah, keeping that stuff out of your house is a good idea. And healthy water, I totally understand. Healthy water is healthy eater. Now I understand. I was thinking you meant sparkling water. But yeah, so if you're the only healthy eater, I mean, first, bless you, because I know how hard that is. Like, I've been there before, and it's just like, I just control the food in our household. I know that sounds like I guess I am a food Nazi, but I do. I control the food in our household. I go to the grocery store. I do the cooking. I do all of those things because I know if I don't do them, then what we eat is not going to be what we should be eating. So you have to just like, and it's not that I want to spend my time going grocery shopping either, but sometimes you just have to like jump in there and just do it yourself so that what you have works for you. Because I think in the end, that's the big piece for all of us, is that, what we have needs to work for us. So, all right, questions? Anybody? I wanted to talk about a couple more things and then get off here so you guys can get back to your world and do some fun stuff wherever you are. Oh yes, a couple of people asked me about the events that we posted in the Facebook group. What we're going to do each week is we'll post the next week's calls so that you've got the times, not just in the header, because they're in the header now. If you tap on the header, they're in the description, and they're also in the events. That way, we're trying to get it so that everybody knows when the calls are. We'll also be sending out an email where you can get notified by Messenger too. So, all right. Any questions? Because I just want to run back over these really quick and then let you guys get back to work or fun, whatever you're doing. So think about the fact that if your energy is low, you want to look at your food, because a lot of times when we run out of energy, it's because we're not eating properly. Your movement makes energy every time. Movement makes energy. Your stress levels. Like, are you getting stressed? For those of you who saw like last week, and I mean, everything went out the window for me last weekend when my dog got sick. And what I noticed was that I was tired at the end of the day. And it was because I was super stressed. And so I had to just like step back, sit down, do my deep breathing, do my meditation, and just realize that overstressed doesn't do anyone any good. So remember, like, and stress, another thing about stress, it puts weight on you. Like, the cortisol creates weight. So messes with your hormones and creates, weight issues. So think about relieving that stress, and then think about getting some good night's sleep. pretty sure I posted somewhere in the group, but I can do it again, my podcast about sleep, because I've got a whole bunch of that's it's one of my favorite things is sleep. So I have a whole bunch of stuff in there about that. So Cindy, let's see. Let me just see what Cindy says real quick. She says she does all the cooking and homekeeping, but the other half refuses, and it's been a little bit of a struggle. Good. I'm glad these lives are helping. I will say something like, I don't know if this is something that works for you, but maybe 3 years ago now, I realized that not only was I doing the cooking and the shopping, I was also doing all the cleaning, and I was getting resentful. Like, it was a stress thing for me. Like, it was definitely a stress thing. It was kind of like, quite frankly, ladies pissing me off. And so I really had to think about it, and I thought, okay, like this is sending me into a tither, and I'm not able to move my attention away from it. I mean, I just keep coming back to the fact that I'm doing everything. So I hired somebody to help me clean the house. And I mean, I'm a great housekeeper. I really am. And probably to a point of perfection. And she may not be a perfect house. She's not as perfect about keeping it up for me, but she does the stuff. And it changed everything. And I told Phil recently, I said, that woman has saved us from a divorce. So, and it's a stress thing for me. I was starting to get irritated and stressed out because I was doing all the things. So think about that. If it's something that you can do, even if it's just once a month. Perfection isn't good. Just go all in and do whatever you can. Another one is, remember, willpower is not real. Like, the amount of willpower we have in our world is pretty little. So set yourself up to win. Figure out what the triggers are that are making you do the things you don't want to do and change them. Do the things that you need to do most first thing in the day. Set yourself up the night before. Like, if you wake up in the morning and you don't want to go work out, and so you can talk yourself out of it, then set yourself up the night before by having all your clothes out, your water bottle, whatever it is, and tell yourself, I am going to do that in the morning, so that when you wake up and you think about negotiating, it's a non-negotiable. Okay? So you're always setting yourself up to win, because willpower is not going to do it for you. You just got to set yourself up to win. And then the last thing is accountability. If you have someone other than our precious partners or best friends that you can do like some accountability with, I'll tell you more about it. Like, in the big group, the course itself, those peer groups are super helpful. Like, everyone's doing awesome. And I know it's because of the accountability. Because, well, let me tell you a super quick story, and then we get off here. One of the girls is, she hasn't done a lot of exercise the last couple of years. So I suggested that she started with the nitros. You've probably seen me post about the nitros in here before. So nitros are very quick. Takes about 4 minutes, I think, to do the whole thing. And she swore that she was going to do 3 sets of nitros a day. And we're like, okay, we're holding you to it. Like, not even 80%. You got to do 100% perfection here. And so one night she posted in the group, she said, I actually got out of bed after having been in bed for a half an hour and did my nitros, because I realized that I had not done it. I hadn't done my 3rd set. And we were like, you just won. You just won everything. So, she did, because what's happening now is she's getting more and more and more and more active. So keep that in mind. Like, accountability is brilliant, whether it's your fitness instructor or a coach or your friends or Stick or yourself, whatever it is, just commit, stick to it, and let's do this thing, okay? So any questions, ladies? I know I talk a mile a minute, but I want to get all these things in, and I want you to get out off the Facebook and get out there and do stuff. So anything else before I let you go? Questions or comments? All right, I'm going to run back through real quick and just say, I know that Susan and Carol and Nikki, I know y'all were all on here. I think we had a few other people that I noticed. So thank you all so very much for being here. If you've got any other questions, you can always follow it up afterwards. Our next live is on, let me check the calendar. It is on this Sunday. And so if you've got questions, or I think I'll be doing a little mini training. So it's this Sunday, 5 o'clock Central Standard Time. So thank you so much for being here, and I will see y'all on Sunday or in the group. See ya. Bye-bye. Thank you so much. See y'all.